You are listening to the Horse Radio Network, part of the Equine Network family.
This is episode 761 of the Dressage Radio Show, official podcast of the United States Dressage Federation on the Horse Radio Network, brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. New year, new goals, new rides with the 2025 Dressage Rider Journal with Ruth Poulsen. We also have Laura Roberts shares details of the exciting new program, the U.S. Dressage Open. Katie Staib and her sister Shelby will join us to share their vision of the future for the Equine Professionals Club and how it will positively impact the horse industry. This is Reese Koffler-Stanfield from Wellington, Florida.
And this is Maggie McIsaac from Temecula, California. And you are listening to the Dressage Radio Show.
Hi, Megan. Well, happy 2025. We're going to start with some good news. Happy 25, my friend.
Woohoo! Happy 2025. Woohoo!
I know. Well, first of all, you are in Temecula, California right now, and we are praying and thinking about everyone in California. So first of all, how are you? Give us an update on what's going on out there.
Honestly, I'm kind of anxious. I have never lived in a state that had fire. And I think ignorantly, I thought the fires were over with in November. So I've been doing a lot of research, watching the news, and planning an evacuation plan is in place for me anyway, and how I'm going to get my horses out in case there is a fire and they give us the order to evacuate. So it's actually not relaxing, and it should have been relaxing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you're literally there for. I mean, let's tell everybody what you're doing out there. I mean, this is a normal trip for you, right?
Yeah, this is a normal trip. This has never happened, but it was El Niño, and so everything is dry here. And so every winter, I go to California to train with my coach, and this is my time for growth and recuperation and focus on me. I'm still virtually teaching lessons. So instead of a 14-hour day, maybe I have an 8-hour day. So, and then it's also, I set time aside to restructure my business, think about my goals, work on my mindset. And I mean, I guess you could say I'm working on my mindset. I'm definitely learning new things. I talk with a firefighter on like what actually happens. And so it has been educational, but it's been really difficult, I have to say, because the power in my Airbnb, as well as one of my barns, has gone off 3 times, and not just for a couple hours. Like it was Tuesday until Thursday, because the infrastructure here with the winds, I mean, they're 80 to 100 mile an hour winds on the coast. About here in Temecula, they're 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, and they will blow down the power poles, which will start a fire. So that's why they turn off the power. I mean, that is like nuts. So that's my life right now.
Yeah. Are you getting to train at all?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I mean, while the first week was settling in the horses, I had a wonderful ride with my coach, Kathleen, today, working on lightness, and it was windy. I mean, like, try to relax, and all of this is really good for prepping for a horse show.
You're getting some, oh, Lordy. Oh, my.
It's a little nuts here, and that's why I'm so excited for you, because I get to hear all of your new adventures with your new horse.
Yes. So I have, I'm in Wellington, and right now, knock on wood, it's beautiful weather here. It's been quite nice. We had a little rain, but in general, it's quite nice. I'm shouting out to my family in Kentucky, because Kentucky has been hit with terrible weather. So I try not to post much online because I'm afraid I'll get hate mail.
You will?
Like, I will get hate mail. But yeah, things are really starting to ramp up. We got down here a little bit before New Year's and just have gotten settled. We're in the same barn this year, so I'm in the same house, and that's really nice when you can kind of go back to the same home. And 2 of my horses had already been here and they had just like got off the trailer and they're like, meh, we're home. Like they were no trouble. My Grand Prix horse Bingo, he's down here teaching lessons. He was terrible. I'm like, you are 19 years old. Like, what is wrong with you? Like I almost tied him to I don't know. I almost put a free for new home sign on him. I was like, man, come on. You're not in Kentucky and it's nice here. Like, but now he's settled and he's perfect. He's pretty perfect, but he was pretty bad for a couple days. I was like, oh my gosh, you're exhausting me. But I do have some really good news. I think you guys have been along with my journey this fall of me, selling Big Mike, who, if you're OG to the show, I talked about my journey with Big Mike. So it was really emotional to sell him. He found an amazing person and that made everything great. But then it was time to search for a new horse. So, I went to Germany, Holland, and Belgium in November, had great agents. We had a great experience. My client got a great horse. Unfortunately, the horse I picked didn't pass the vet. And I ended up betting actually a few more that didn't pass the vet. So that's really a frustrating thing. And so then I hooked up with an old friend. She was actually my coach when I was like 14 to 17, Odyssey Neidhart Clark and Martha Thomas. And we went to Denmark. And that was my first time in Denmark. I had been to Denmark, actually look at horses for a couple hours. I had flown in and flown out, but I hadn't really been to Denmark. So Megan, you've done Denmark. We talked about it and you said, go do it. Yep. You know it quite well. And so it was really fun. I was and you've said this before, Megan, but Denmark is really paying attention to horse welfare and really good riding. So I actually was really impressed with the riding in Denmark and the horses too. So I found a horse. His name is Rocky. He's 5 turning 6. I guess technically he's 6 now. And he flew over on the 2nd. So is that right? I don't know what day it is. I know. But he's been here. I'm like, I don't know what day it is. But he's been here a week as of tomorrow. So, I think when you import a horse, and I've done it enough now, and this is a young horse. So I really wanted to have the expectation of, I want him to get here. I want him to have time. He lost a shoe. And then actually my farrier was stuck in California in the fires. So he didn't have a shoe for a few days. And so we just groomed and loved on him and it's sandy here so they can go out without a shoe. It's okay. Won't kill anybody. So he went out and he had been without a shoe for days. So he went out and poor guy, then he got a swollen leg. And here in Florida, the fungus is a thing. It's a thing. So I kind of knew it was, that happens here, kind of, especially the first time. And if their immune system's really down. So today was the first day I lunged him. So hopefully we'll ride him this week. Yes. That's the plan, is to get on him. And so his name is, it's kind of a bad name. I'm going to try and change it a little bit. But right now his name is Rock Me Forever. Everyone can laugh. It's fine.
I kind of like it.
I hate it. Megan likes it.
That's way better than like Overguard's Pamanoff or dialects. Sundergaard's dialect. There's some funky names. I love it.
Okay.
Rock Me Forever.
I'm going to try and change it a little bit. But we call him Rocky and he's kind and sweet and he's going to be great. And I keep telling him, I'm like, I give him Gastrogard every day and he's like, lady, go away. And I'm like, here's a cookie, so I'm trying to spend some time. And that's what's fun for me here in Florida, that I get a little extra time that I can hand graze them and play with them myself, which is really fun. So very happy with that. And then I bought another horse. I doubled my herd in one day.
What did you buy?
You know this. I told you this. Yeah, Megan knows this. I was like, you know this. So I bought a weanling as well. I know everybody loves the weanling.
So cute.
I have to put some pictures on the Facebook page. But I bought a weanling, and he is the half brother to my chestnut horse Ori that I love. And it was maybe a week moment. We were in Holland. It was late. It was late on a Saturday night. We were just about ready to go to the airport to fly home. And I just bet this fall. And I knew when he was born, I had gotten a picture of him and I was like, oh my God, he's so cute. And I don't know, guys, I just got a feeling. It could be the stupidest feeling ever. I don't know.
You got to run with it. He's adorable.
Yes, he's adorable. I'll put a picture up. He's so cute and he's so sweet, just like his brother. And they have the same mom. So a little different stallion. He's a Lord Europe. And I did some research. It was not what I was looking for at all, but I don't know. I thank you to Samara. Shout out to her in the Netherlands. I have a good friend that stayed in touch with her, and he's going to stay there for a while. So this will be the first time I've done this where they actually stay. So I'm just going to have to go check on him.
Yeah, you are.
Totally fine. So I'm going to go check on him, which is going to be fun. And I'm excited. So his name is Ultimo. I like his name, Ultimo Timeless. And we call him Legs, is his nickname, because my brother, he knows about horses because his two sisters ride. And I showed him to him at Christmas and he goes, oh my gosh, he has really long legs. So we call him Legs. So Legs is going to grow up in the Netherlands and we'll see how we do. And I'm excited about that. So I do have some fun news. And so certainly we're thinking about everyone in any place that is having weather, but I hope to bring a little joy with those horses. So super fun news for 2025. And I'm excited. So you and I are both in development stage and changing horses. And it's hard. I think it's hard when you have horses for a long time and then like FEI horses. And then you're like, I have 2 6-year-olds now. So it's like I'm in middle school. Like I have gotten to middle school now. I live in middle school.
Frequently asked questions brought to you by Kentucky Performance Products. Is it necessary to feed additional fat or oil to my horse when I supplement with a natural vitamin E powder like Elevate? No, it is not necessary to provide additional fat or oil to your horse when supplementing with the natural vitamin E contained in Elevate Maintenance Powder. A typical horse will consume enough fat from their diet to support the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins. An exception to the rule would be a horse that is severely malnourished or one that has a medical condition that interferes with fat absorption. Most horse people don't consider hay and pasture as sources of dietary fat, but they are. For example, mixed grass pasture contains between 2 and 4% fat, depending on the variety of grass. Hays contain between 1.5 to 3% fat. If your horse is eating 15 pounds of hay, that diet is providing from 1/4 to 1/2 pound of fat per day. You can learn more about Elevate and natural vitamin E at kppusa.com. Got questions about your feeding program? We can help. Email Karen at questions@kppusa.com or call us at 859-873-29.
Well, tonight for our first show of the year, we are so excited. I think this is a little bit of a tradition. We have Ruth Poulsen on. She is the author of the Dressage Rider's Journal, Planner, and Calendar. Welcome back to the show, Ruth.
I am so happy that this has become our tradition. Thank you so much for having me.
I love it. And you and I literally just saw each other about 20 minutes ago. And we do have to give a to our dear friend who passed away, Marty Haste. I'm going to hold it together here. He was just a wonderful supporter of mine and I know a good friend of yours. And we literally we were just staying together about 20 minutes ago. So a shout out to Marty. And I know and Beth, and I want to dedicate the show. Beth Haste has been on our show many times and Marty passed away this summer and we just had a service for him. And I think he was such a bright light. And I think he would love to hear about goal setting and planning for the year. So Ruth, start us off. Tell us about the journal. And I think this is your 4th or 5th time on the show about it. So we're excited to have you.
Yeah. So I created this journal out of a necessity for myself and my students. And some of my students are lucky to travel with me back and forth. And some of my students meet me here in the winter, whereas Wellington, or I'm just outside in Lockhatchee. And some of them I have to leave behind in Vermont. And so we were all struggling with different needs about what they wanted to set for goals with the trainer that they have at home, or maybe they work at home. And I wanted to help them clarify their own special needs and goals and how to chip away at through the year. And one thing that I have certainly learned over the years is that we have all these big goals, but if we don't have an action plan of how to get them set and started, and you chip away at the little pieces that turns into the big pieces, then it seems overwhelming. And then also sometimes people forget what they actually have accomplished over the year. And that's actually one of my bright lights, which is, well, wait a second. Last year you couldn't do a flying change, and now you just did 4 tempies. So
huge deal. Yes.
It's a huge deal. So I think sometimes laying things out for your own mental preparation was the reason I started the journal. But, you know, I'm obviously a kind of a retentive note taker, if you want to talk about that. And so I have found out some really important things about my horses and my students through logging when things are great, when things aren't great, when did they get shod, when did they have worming medicine, when did they get their Adequan. Like, it's really interesting to actually look back and go, when were my best rides? Because I would like to produce that at a horse show, for example. So this is why I've continued doing it. And I will also say, I'm very excited to announce that I'm in the process. So it'll be for 2026. But there will also be availability of an online digital journal.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I was just going to
use their Kindle or their whatever they use for their digital stuff. I thought it was just going to be, you know, oh, we'll just put it digital. Well, not exactly. So it will be out for 2026, and you will have the option to buy it in the paperback as it is now, or to get a digital version. And anybody who has purchased a paperback version will get a big discount on the digital version. So I'm looking forward to that for 2026, and it's in the works. So just, you know, that's out there.
Wow.
That's awesome.
This is really awesome. And in the paper journal, is it for every day? Like, what does it look like? I haven't seen your journal. I'm really looking forward to it.
She's a newbie. She's a newbie.
Getting your copy.
Yeah.
Your copy. But one thing for me, like I like paper and pencil. So I'm going to always keep my paper and pencil. Yeah. So there's a whole bunch of different things in the journal, and there is month to month. There's a month calendar, and then there's a day-by-day calendar. But there's also things inserted like extra pages between days for writing down an exercise that you did with your trainer. They wanted you to go from F to X, and now you have to draw that down. It'll help you retain the information, and you can always go back and use it as a library. So there's a lot of sketch areas, for drawing out tests or movements or exercises that you've worked on. There's also goal-setting areas. There's a mind map for helping you chart out all the small pieces of your goals. There's a show schedule, an entry form thing, and closing dates and opening dates, just so you can kind of get all of your stuff down on paper and look at the trends as you go along. I've tried to leave a lot of space for note-taking for lessons, clinics. Maybe you get to go to the trainer symposium or a clinic somewhere where you want to take notes. There's a lot of ample space for that.
This is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to getting my journal. Thank you so much. And I think it's really neat to think about looking back. Like, I always have like a mental log in my mind with my horses, but I think this is really helpful to think back on what did I do, and also with my students. Wow. Yeah. Cool.
Yes. Really cool.
So a couple of years ago, I told a little story about a trend with my own horse, but I have used it over and over again. And so one of my students' horses has some skin allergies, and we were, you know, why does he get these rubs and these skin allergies and these hives? And so we just started tracking. We would just make a note we had a bad itching sensation on the first, and what was happening. And we'd go back and we'd look at the pollen count, or we'd look at was any feed changed, or we looked at the temperature. And by looking at all of that, we came to the conclusion of this skin sensitivity to insects, depending on whether it was warm and the barometric pressure was going up and the bugs were out, or it was cold. And this has been very interesting to be able to use it in also some, like, not just diagnostics, like veterinarian diagnostics, but some horses, when they get a massage, they're awesome the next day, and some horses are 2 days later, they're awesome, right?
Yeah.
So, but you don't know that unless you write it down and go back and look at 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So true. It's so true. I love it. And let's talk about goal setting too. I think goal setting is important. It's really important. And I think sometimes when I talk to students, they say something like, oh, my goal is to ride well. And I kind of have that goal right now with my 2 6-year-olds. I'm like, I really want to just train my horses. And I think that it's an open-ended goal, but it's also a really important goal. Sometimes I've been like, I want to make this CDI, or I want to make regional championships, or I want to make national championships. But sometimes having a goal too, that's not so, it's okay to not be competition. Yeah. That's where I'm going with this. It's okay, right?
Well, I have a lot of students who don't show, and that is great with me. And, we talk about the same, and often it's very similar. I want to train better. I want to ride better. I want to have better relationship with my horse. And the thing about the journal that has helped them is because we're all kind of the same. We always look at what's not going well.
Yes.
But the journal makes you also talk about your strengths, which sometimes we're a little bit, we're timid about talking about our strengths. So this talks about your strengths, and it makes you write down 5 of your strengths or something. And then you think about, okay, what can I do with my strengths to make my goals more efficient? How do I get there?
Yeah.
And whether or not you're competing or you're not, what does it mean to ride better? Does that mean you have to be more astute about having your horse in front of your leg? Or does your left rein need to be better? Or does your posture need help? Or does your horse need maintenance? There's so many pieces to be able to say, I want to ride better. But thinking about it in smaller chunks helps you be able to identify what you can change and what you need to work on changing.
And love it. What about for someone like me? Right now, I feel very unfocused and distracted. So it sounds like it would also help a person like me in my current phase.
I would think so. I mean, I would, if you were writing down on the journal and you were a student of mine, I'd say, why are you distracted? And what is it that you think you're missing to keep you distracted? And, I understand you're out in the West Coast, so I can imagine a million things right now that is causing you distraction. So you're, like at this second, your goal is to keep everybody healthy and happy and safe. And then when that's done, that's huge. And I love lists. So like when we get a hurricane down here, my girls and myself and my husband, I have an ongoing list. And like, what do we need to do 5 days before a hurricane? This list comes out. That's all my lists start in my journal because you get a random idea. And then for me, if I don't write it down and do something about it, it's gone.
Oh yeah.
So once you're safe and healthy and over all the West Coast fireballs that you guys are sadly having, then you sit back and you say, okay, now I'm safe. My horses are healthy. I'm healthy. Now what do I do? What are my goals? What can I do? And start small and go big, but you got to start with these little smaller steps that helps you get to the bigger goals.
Yeah. I love it.
I love the small steps to big steps. And that's okay sometimes to have small steps. I think a lot of us are coming off the holidays and coming off, it's stressful. A lot of it, depending on where you are. I mean, obviously, California, we're thinking of everybody, including Megan out there, or, you're in Kentucky right now. My home they can't get the horses out of the barn. It's too icy, and so it's the small steps, and it's okay to take small steps. And I think that's important when you goal set too. And then maybe you pivot a little bit, and that's okay. And it's also January.
Like I have a couple horses to ride right now, and they're both my elderly retired Grand Prix horses. And then I'm teaching all day. And my old love, big heart mare, she's 22 years old, and she did the Grand Prix for 9 years, and she's retired from that. And she got an injury last year. And so, but I'm riding her, but I'm doing straight lines, walk, trot, canter. And for 6 months now, I've been giving myself a lunge line lesson, and I'm sitting straight, and I'm making sure my arms are equal, and I'm got my thighs relaxed. I always tend to tip on my knees. I'm talking about the bridle. I'm looking at her shape, and I'm just doing these simple things. I came back to the barn the other day, and I said to my assistant, Emily, I swear to God, she feels better than the last Grand Prix she ever did. Wow. Because I'm so focused on, I'm not allowed to do anything sideways or difficult, but I'm so focused on the details of making this 20-minute walk, trot, canter on straight lines ride beautiful. She feels fabulous. So that for me is a big win on my goal sheet. So many big things can come out of little things.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Love that.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, Ruth, as always, you are such an inspiration. How can our listeners find the journal online? It's just been a great tradition here that we've had at the Dressage Radio Show. We're glad to bring Megan into it. And how can they find it?
So we sell it through Amazon. So if you Google Amazon and you go to Amazon and you write the Dressage Riders Journal 2025, it'll pop up. There's original artwork with a blue cover and a gray horse, which is in memory of a student that passed away unexpectedly of mine last winter. So we think about Sarah all the time, and she's on the cover. You can also go to my website, which is Ruth Poulsen, and that's POULSEN.com. And you can find the link to the book. You can also get a lot of great free articles. You can get on the newsletter. There's some really fun stuff that I put out every month. This month we're focusing actually on the walk for the next 2 months, about how the walk is so important and how we should walk and the different walks and those kinds of things. So there's a lot of fun information there on RuthHoganPoulsen.com, and the book is sold, the journal is sold on Amazon.
Chewy is our one-stop horse shop, from feed to supplements to supplies, medication, and more, delivered straight to your barn with fast, free shipping on orders of $49 and the convenience of auto ship. You'll never have to worry about running out of your brands you trust and the products you need. You can count on Chewy to keep your barn stocked and your horse happy. Start shopping today at chewy.com/equine. And Megan, I was literally just looking on Chewy. I get Chewy, it is really helpful. I get Chewy. I get my horse feed on Chewy. And especially if I know my week's going to be really crazy, I just order it because I know it's going to come to the barn. I don't have to worry about it. And if there's ever a problem, this has happened. I've used Chewy a long time. And then I was just looking at clippers because a lot of times I can get things ordered and here quicker than it takes me. I know my week's busy. I need to get some clippers because my horses need clippers. And literally I was just looking at them. So really, really excited to have them on board. And it's amazing company. And they're so kind. We get all our dog food and all our treats there as well. So we hope you enjoy Chewy and definitely use them. Well, tonight we are so excited to have Laura Roberts. She is the Managing Director of Dressage, aka Manager of Chaos. Laura, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, we have some really exciting news for 2025. I cannot believe this is our first show of the year. And we wanted to have you on because this is such a cool opportunity that we want to make sure everybody knows about. So I'm going to let you start talking about the U.S. Dressage Open.
Sure. Yeah. The U.S. Open is something that we started talking about in early 2024. And it's an initiative that the USEF board actually proposed to help bring all three of the Olympic disciplines, so dressage, eventing, and show jumping, more into the mainstream and to help with fan engagement, to give people something within the U.S. that they could follow throughout the year, get to know the athletes that are trying to qualify, get to know their backstories, and then have that culminate in a final at the end of the year. So for dressage, our series is centered around the freestyle. So it's a bit, we kind of refer to it a little bit as the U.S. World Cup. So we have 24 qualifiers in the U.S., which are listed on our website, and you can look for those there, where any of the athletes that are entered in the 3-star or above and enter into the freestyle class, there's points that they will receive based on their final placing within the freestyle class. And those points then go on to a leaderboard, which is managed on our fan site, the usequestrianopen.com. And from there, the top 18 athletes at the end of the year will qualify for the final, which is going to be held in Thermal at the Desert International Horse Park, November 13th through 15th of 2025. So we're super excited about this. We're super grateful that the USEF board is willing to invest in such a project. Mm-hmm. It's a 3-year investment, so it gives us time to really gain our roots in this program. And hopefully it continues on past 3 years, but we need the support of the riders and sponsors and owners and everybody that makes the dressage sport go around to make sure that this is something we can sustain beyond those 3 years.
It's really fantastic. And just to clarify for anyone who's listening, this level is at the Grand Prix, correct? And only offered at the Grand Prix. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is great. So we had the first freestyle last weekend, actually. I think that was the first qualifier, wasn't it? Or it
was the second. The first was in Thermal.
Oh, cool.
So it's kind of fun. We start in Thermal and we end in Thermal.
I love it.
But yeah, last week was the first Wellington qualifier.
And how does it work? Like when you win, you get certain points. Like how does the leaderboard work?
Yes. So when you win, you get certain points based on your placing in the class. And you're putting me on the spot. I'll pull up the rules so that I can tell you.
Sorry.
But yeah, based on your placing, first place within each class gets 20 points, and then second and third is 17, fourth and fifth is 15, and then 6th through 10th is 10 points. So those points accumulate throughout the year, and then it's the top 6. So if you do more than 6 qualifiers, only your top 6 scores count. So you would have drop scores at that point. It would be your top 6.
Oh, that's super cool. Awesome. So how many riders around this is open to everyone, right? There's not just U.S. riders.
Correct. Yeah. It's open to foreign riders as well. So.
Oh, wow.
How much money is available? Because I need to kick some 6-year-olds into gear. No, I'm just kidding. I'm like, I need to get into gear here.
Yeah. It's $250,000 in prize money, and $50,000 of that just goes to the 18 that qualify. So just for qualifying, you already win prize money, and then $200,000 of that is dedicated to the final itself.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
This is fantastic.
So cool. And if we can't get to Thermal, like, will there be coverage? Like, how can we see it if we're not going to be able to make it to California?
Yeah, it'll be on the USEF network. We've partnered with ESPN for this project as well, so we'll have coverage on ESPN.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so
great job.
We're hoping that people can make it out there, and that, we'll have extra events outside of just the competition for spectators and families that are able to join us in person. But yeah, we've got plenty of live stream options as well.
Awesome.
And when they're competing at the final, do they compete in 3 different tests, which would be the Grand Prix freestyle, and the special, or is it just the freestyle that they compete?
They would do the Grand Prix and the freestyle, so 2 tests.
2 tests. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, fantastic. I love it. So we can kind of continue to watch this through the year. And I mean, there's lots of cool stuff going on in 2025. Is there anything else that we should kind of be looking from USEF? Because there's lots of cool stuff that's happening. We just had a huge clinic that just happened, right? Here in Wellington for young riders.
Yeah, we just had our first of the USEF Dressage training series, the East Coast youth version in Wellington last week. We will have one on the West Coast in February for the youth riders as well. And then we've got 4 others that we're planning, which those are the training series itself is open to all levels FEI riders. You don't have to be part of a USEF program in order to receive an invitation to those. So we've got that. And then we've also got our program training and evaluation sessions, which those are geared towards our program members, but also people who are close to meeting the requirements of the program. So you don't necessarily have to be a member for those training and evaluation sessions. So yeah, we've got a lot of emphasis this year on training and preparing for, LA. We just kicked off the start of the LA Quad, and I think we're all stuck in saying it's 4 years away, but really it's 3 years away now.
It's 3 years away. It's so crazy. And I mean, would you take my age and divide it in 2 so that I could go to the young rider?
Yeah.
Their training session. I mean, do you just take ages and maybe divide it? Because let me tell you, what was happening over at Global last week was incredible. I was so jealous. I was like, how do I get to be a youth again? Like, how do I get over there? But all the training sessions, there are a lot that's open to the public, right?
The youth sessions, yes, but the program sessions we do close to auditors.
Right. But there are some opportunities you can go and watch that. That is an amazing program here in Wellington. Always happens the first week of January.
Yep.
And it's pretty amazing. So, but wow, I mean, there's so much excitement leading up to LA. Like you said, in 3 years, we're going to be doing this again. And we're going to say, we said 3 years ago, like it wasn't that long ago. So I think it's amazing. And I think what you guys do over in the office is incredible, and what you do as well. Like I know what you put into it, and it's incredible. So we can't thank you enough. All these amazing opportunities that are happening, and cheers to 2025, girl, and getting ready for LA. It's super exciting.
Yeah. Not an off year. It's just there's no championship this year. So we've got a lot of work to do, and we're going to keep the opportunities coming.
Yes, exactly. You girls are working so hard for that. And so just how can our listeners find stuff online about all these programs? Because you guys have a great website. How do they take care of that?
Yeah, so if you go on the USEF website under Compete, and then you'll go to Breeds and Disciplines and Dressage, and that's where you can find the main dressage information. Sorry, I'm getting over a cold. That's where you'll find the main dressage information, and then for specific, fan guides and leaderboards and information on the US Open, usequestrianopen.com is your fan page for that.
Love it. Love it. Well, thank you so much for all the work you put in all the time, and cheers to 2025 and developing horses. So we are ready for LA in 3 years.
Woohoo.
Yes. Thank you for having me on and taking the opportunity to share some of the things we're working on.
Recharge your training program with Equestrian Plus. Equestrian Plus brings together the top riders, trainers, and professionals onto one video platform. Watch over 5,000 how-to training videos, clinic and event footage, exclusive training sessions, and more, featuring top experts including 5-time dressage Olympian Stefan Peters, International Grand Prix dressage competitor Anna Buffini, Olympic dressage team bronze medalist Laura Graves, and many more. Join Equestrian Plus now and use promo code HRN15 for 15% off your first month. Visit equestrianplus.com to subscribe.
Well, tonight's show, we have a very special treat for everyone. We have the creators of the Equestrian Professionals Club, Katie and Shelby Staib. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hello.
Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, we're so glad you're here. Well, Katie, you and I know each other. We have met several times, and I've done wonderful interviews. Megan as well. So, Katie, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, so I have been involved in the dressage world since about 2018. I am currently a junior at Liberty University. It's in Lynchburg, Virginia. But in terms of dressage-wise, I am both a bronze and silver medalist have done some working student positions in the past on a schoolmaster who I've been very grateful to have the chance to ride. But in the last year, I met Reese along at the Young Rider Dream program through the Dressage Foundation. So that was an incredible opportunity. And Reese got to introduce us to just about everyone under the sun, under the VIP tent.
That's my superpower.
At Global. So at Global. So it was a great...
Yeah, and you guys have run with that, right? I mean, yes, we got to meet a lot of people, but you guys have created this amazing opportunity for everybody. So I'm going to have Shelby introduce herself, and then we want to hear all about the Equestrian Professionals Club. Shelby, tell us about yourself.
Perfect. Well, hello, everyone. I'm Katie's sister, a couple years older than her, and I honestly, to be honest, do not know much about the equine world up until about this past year when we've taken on this new adventure. So I graduated to college a couple years ago. I went to James Madison University, where I was also actually on the track team there. I'm a javelin thrower, so that's kind of another unique sport. But after that retirement, I've actually moved to Virginia Beach, so that's where I've been based for basically the last 2 years, and I work as a financial consultant for a accounting firm. So that's what I do for my day-to-day life, and then love to do this side project with Katie.
Oh, fun.
I love it. So, Katie, how did you decide to start the Equestrian Professionals Club?
So back at Liberty, I'm a business project management student. And so when I first came to school, I decided to not bring my own mare, but I had a lot of friends who were bringing their horses from multiple different, states and bringing them to the Equestrian Center at Liberty. And so in talking with both them and other people from back home, there was a lot of discussion and struggle bus in terms of finding the equine professionals that you need in an area, especially when you move. And so I thought to myself, why is there no platform that we can just search up exactly who we need, what professional we need for, whether that's farrier, a boarding facility, especially for students going to college or anyone moving different locations, different trainers, show organizations, just about any business or service within equine industry. So any equine professional. So I thought to myself, why does this not exist already? And so my entrepreneurship side of my life really wanted to bring this to the equestrian community because I think it is just so needed with so many different problems we face with both Facebook and Google and word of mouth that we're restricted by.
Yeah, I think this is awesome, Katie. Both Reese and I have joined the Equestrian Professionals Club and in the Spotlight. Can you tell us some of the options that are available for the professionals that join your site?
Yeah, so any equine professional can register and become a member. And with that, you create a profile. So by creating a profile, you get a pinpoint on the map of the EPC map, and you can list your services. You can have a description. One photo comes with that as well. There is a spot for a location. And if you didn't want to put your exact address, you can put a city or town. So it's confidential. But then you also can list your certifications, link to your website, link to your email, phone number, whatever have you. And you can also communicate with potential clients between equestrians and equine professionals through our site. So if you didn't want to give out your phone number, there's a means to direct message people through our site.
Cool.
So it populates on the map format, the EPC map, in which equestrians can go on and search for the equine professional that they may be looking for. So they can categorize that by whatever category: trainer, farrier, dentist, massage therapist, boarding facility, all of those things, as well as their availability. So is this person available? Is this person not available? Are they accepting new clients, waitlisting, those different statuses that people can search based off of. But we also, and both of you, both Reese and Megan, was featured in our member spotlight interviews, which we do when we get new members in. Sometimes I'll reach out and see if they'd be interested in doing a member spotlight interview, and in a way to build community and an inclusive culture within the industry and let anyone have the chance to share their story. We have a content hub that we post member spotlight interviews and articles on there, as well as key takeaways on our Instagram.
One of the aspects of just having a profile on our site, what we've done is we've created almost a Zillow for the equine industry. So apart with having your account and posting your profile, that also comes with some business insights. So when you do have an account on our site, there is a logged in user menu where you can go to the Insights tab. And basically the Insights tab will show you a preview over the last 24 hours, the last seven days, the last 30 days, how your profile has been trending. So basically, it will show you the viewership of your profile on our site. So that could be either from scrolling screens or directly searches from the map. Someone viewed your profile and it came up on their page. So it will show you views, unique views, breakdown of the different devices, countries, the browsers, how people were basically getting referred to your profile and who's seen it. So that is a super key thing for businesses that are trying to grow viewership and understand how their business is trending. And then for your everyday equestrian who may not have or provide services or have a business, there's other key things of having an account on our site where you can favorite profiles for a later time, you can save your searches, and like Katie kind of alluded to, you can direct message professionals right on our site. So if you're interested in someone's services, you can either use the feature where you email them, or you can also direct message them and then manage them all through your account with us.
Is it internationally, or is it only focused on the U.S.-based businesses?
Currently, it's limited to the U.S. businesses. So only U.S. businesses and professionals would be able to put a pin within the U.S. categories. But given some of our members, they do have international presence. There has been quite a bit of traffic internationally, but yes, it is currently limited only to post profiles within the United States.
I love it. And what does it cost to be listed on the site?
It is currently free. So it is free to initially post your profile. So, you just sign up for your account, create your username and password, and then it's completely free to post your site. At this point, we're definitely in growing stages of the company. Yes. So we're really focused on just being open. And that's why we're really looking for people to be willing to grow with us, because we're trying to create a valuable resource for this industry and kind of fill in those gaps and needs for the industry. So looking for people to grow with us, to join. And, the more members that we get on that profile, the more helpful it will be to the different communities.
Yeah. I mean, I think
the more inclusive we can make that community, because so often we're struggling with word of mouth, which, that's biased. And so is Facebook. And in search of posts are probably my biggest pet peeve to see on Facebook groups, because it drives me crazy that we don't have something specifically for our industry. And so that's why we created EPC, the Equine Professionals Club. And so we're excited to address those needs in the industry that we're limited by Facebook and social media algorithms and Google. Not everyone has a website. Some people rely on Facebook. So there's a lot of trouble within the current media and forms of communication that we are trying to solve within our platform.
Yeah. I think it's great. I'm so, in awe of you both and the passion you have in the community. And that's one of the things I've been, listening to podcasts for the beginning of the year and goal setting. And really one of the things that everyone will say is community is critical. And the fact that you guys are bringing the horse community together is such a very, very cool thing. So how can our listeners find online, please help spread the word with their trainers or other professionals in their area? How do we do this? How do we make it work?
Well, we are the Equine Professionals Club, but as you guys have said before, it's also for equestrians. It's an equestrians and equine professionals club, to be completely honest, and we're trying to make that connection between one another. And so our content hub for equestrians and equine professionals is a great resource on our Instagram. It's at Equine Pros Club on our Instagram, and our Facebook is simple, Equine Professionals Club, but we post a lot of how-tos, our mission, our goals, our links to our EPC map, our content hub, how to create a profile. A lot of great content is on our Instagram and as well posted to our Facebook on how people can get started with us. And also insights from our member spotlight interviews, which has just been an incredible experience with so many different professionals, both really renowned trainers and international agents, and as well as local trainers who just want to share their story, and everyone's story matters. So we truly believe that by building an inclusive community, we can allow others to join our platform. And so our website is equineprofessionalsclub.com. That Instagram is Equine Pros Club, and connecting on there, we have tons of links to get you where you need to be to start joining our platform and spreading the word. So we would love any shares on Instagram, social media, that we're trying to get the word out. And it's a really simple and easy profile creation.
And for people like myself who are not that great online, you girls are very, very helpful. And they help me with mine, and very sweet and kind and very helpful to get my profile up and going. So we thank you both. I think what you're doing is amazing for the community, and we want to cheer you on and continue to promote other businesses as well. So thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us.
Well, Megan, it's been a great show, and we're still praying and thinking about you. I'm calling you every day because I'm nervous for you, but we hope you get some relaxing time in California, and we're thinking about everybody in California. As always, you can find our show notes and links to today's guests on our page at horseradionetwork.com. Search Dressage Radio Show. Like us on Facebook, just search Dressage Radio Show. Follow us on Twitter at Horse Radio. My website is maplecrestfarmky.com, and my email is reese@horseradionetwork.com.
And my website is lindenhoff.com, and my email is lindenhoffllc@gmail.com.
And always, thanks to our sponsors, Kentucky Performance Products and Chewy. If you'd like to support our show and the Horse Radio Network, you can do that through the Auditor program found at horseradionetwork.com. Everybody keep on kicking on, stay safe and warm, and we will talk to you soon.